Alright, let's see if this works any better. Hello, hello? Hello, hello? Hello? I don't know if anyone's still here or will see this or anything else like that, but I will do what I can. Hi! Hi! I see me! Hello, me! Hi! Ooh! Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Da-da-da-da-da-da. "76 trombones led the big parade. 101 blah blah da ba da. Hello, hello. Okay, people. Oh, why is there... Can you see this? This gets stuck? Is it working? Is it not working? Okay, maybe it's working. My chat seems like it's confused, so maybe I'll be able to fix that in the stream. Cosmos says your chat. Well, I ain't down with that, because your waist is small and your curves are kicking, and I'm thinking about sticking. The beanpole dames in the magazines? Well, you ain't it, this thing. Give me a sister, can't resist her. Red beans and rice did miss her. Okay, I am confused. I cannot see anything, but you can see other things. There's chat on the side, and... I mean, it's just my hat. I got a hat. I got a hat. A hat. I got a hat. A hat. I got a hat. A hat. Hey! Put your hat forward. Put your hat back. Put your hat up and down, up and down, up and down. Now you're set to go to town. You're looking good. Alrighty. So, where were we? What had happened before I realized that the chat was totally broken and everything was totally broken is that I was attacking a dragon. I do these things when I think myself alone. It's true, I don't mean to deny. Is that I am attacking this dragon, and the way that I attack this dragon is by making rocks fall on his head, by hitting rocks. So, oh no, I didn't make rocks fall on his head. Well, I think I'll just stay away so he doesn't burninate me. Because this dragon likes to burninate the countryside, it turns out, just like Trogdor, and it hurts, so I don't want to do that. There we go. I killed the dragon. Hooray, hooray.
Anna, I yield. I really hurt. What did you have to go and do that for? Here, take this dragon potion and leave me alone. Drink it when you need it. Gives you armor that is impervious to...
No, I was in my live dashboard and that was the easy link. I wanted to get something. I'm trying to I got like 4 windows open. I was talking to the SRE who's working on the problem on the YouTube side, and I was talking to all these other people and so on and so forth. So, alright, I have dragon armor now. So the cool thing about dragon armor is that I'm invincible to fire. The sad thing about dragon armor is that all I can do is breathe fire. So it's not super useful. Yeah, you can go back to YouTube, YTG. Yeah. I was just quickly pasting a link. I am happy to have you back. I'm glad you made it back. I did not know that you were going to, because I did not know anything, because everything is terrible. Anyway, it's like it's a YouTube problem. They're working on it. I am sorry for the bad experience, Brad, that you had, and sorry that everyone else had a bad experience as well. As someone who is streaming, it is very difficult when you're like, okay, it doesn't work and I don't know why. Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, I do actually have the power to look into these things. Unfortunately, it's difficult to do that while streaming, so yeah. No, it was YouTube. It was YouTube in general, or Chaos. It was not YTG specific. It's it was a broader issue than that. I just yeah, it's a broad issue. Okay. Let's see. I got a star rune, which will now take me to this way. Die, little noblets. Alright, now I can collect the chalice, which is good, and that is the exit, so let's go and get this first. Hello, Poseidon Will. Hello, MWB Arts. Good to see you. If you were here earlier, I apologize if I missed you in the YouTube problems that we were having earlier, but it seems like for now, everything is fine. Fine, just fine. There are no problems here. We're all fine here. I wasn't enjoying that conversation anyway, etc., etc. Just pretend I'm Han Solo. I'm almost as handsome as Harrison Ford, and we all knowed it. Oh no! I was looking at the chat. Chat, you killed me! You killed me! Chris punches Gestapo. Yes, that is a good plan. That is a good plan. We got chalice. We got a life bottle that restored me. It's all good. Everything about this problem is good. That's all I have to say. Anyway, good to see all of you here on this Sunday morning. Let me close up those things here. I don't need them anymore. Hey, there's 18 people here. That's more people than whatever. Wait is the answer to that question. In order to get ultra low latency, you gotta wait. I think that punching Nazis is a good last resort. I think that we should attempt to use our words to stop people from doing things, but once our words no longer work, you have to do something. I have not got myself a magic sword. Well, then give me a magic sword. So I'm streaming on Sunday based on a Twitter poll that I took where I said, if you could have me stream one extra day, what would it be? So I'm going to be going on vacation next week with my family. My brothers are coming in from Illinois, and we're all going up to the Mount Washington Resort Hotel in New Hampshire. And so I will not be able to stream during the week of the 25th, or 21st to 25th. Unfortunately, this means I'm going to miss YouTube Gaming's birthday, second birthday. But yeah, so I'm not going to be able to stream on that week, so I decided to throw in some extra days here to keep all of you people happy. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. No. Okay, so the Gallows Gauntlet is the next level. And before I do that, I'm going to go back to the graveyard and refill my life, because that's what I like to do whenever I start a level. I don't think I'm just not gonna be around. I'm gonna be offline. No, my brothers aren't into tech. My younger brother is my youngest brother is a school teacher. He teaches chemistry and physics for the most part in the Chicago Public School District. My older brother is he does fire. What's it called? Fire. He does like planning for sprinkler systems and other things like that as an engineer at a fire prevention company. So they do like plans and other stuff like that when you're building a building to figure out where your sprinkler should be and how much water you need and everything else like that for fire prevention. So. But yes, I am the oldest. My middle brother, works as an engineer at a fire prevention company, and my youngest brother works as a teacher in the Chicago Public School District. So yeah, yesterday was a day in which some Nazis got punched because they deserved it. It is a day in which some people who are not Nazis got run over by a car because they did not deserve it. Nice day for a trip to the graveyard. Yeah, it's sunny out. It's gorgeous. It's one of the problems I have. This whole like very dark theme of this whole game just makes me feel it's also dark. I'm like, I want it to be, you know, nice and warm and happy. So this is why I'm gonna play Spyro after this game, I think, is to, you know, get some sunniness. Yeah, we'll probably go to a graveyard later. A friend of mine was interested in getting a picture of a particular gravestone from Mount Auburn Cemetery in Cambridge, and since that is not very far away, I offered to do it. So Somebody that Brad knows, Parker. Parker Higgins asked about a grave marker, Brad. So I'm gonna walk over and take a picture of the back of it for him. Play some pirates after this game. Hello, Sonic Moz. Brad, I have told you that you need to stream pirates. It is not the case that I'm just going to stream pirates for you. You gotta be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Okay, so now I've got full life. I got 13 chalices down. I got the magic sword, which is apparently the best weapon in the game, and it doesn't need recharging, unlike the other sword that I have, so that's good. The Gallows Gauntlet. So I have learned after all of this to not just allow, like, not just run past enemies. That's one thing that I am really bad at. Like, I really like to just run through a level as fast as possible. I'm not a speedrunner, but I just don't like completionism. But this game, because you get more weapons as you complete more things, strongly rewards completionism, and so I've had to adjust my behavior slightly to take that under advisement and change my behavior as a result. Oh, I'm sorry, Jan the Human. Yeah, so this is the thing. I'm testing ultra latency mode, and at the moment, I feel like we've still got some tuning to do. So I'm using it in part, even though I know it means some people can't watch very effectively, because I want to figure out what's wrong and fix it. So I am sorry that you are the guinea pig and are having to suffer. I apologize. Have I played Destroy All Humans? I have not played Destroy All Humans. No. I've played that in in real life in my head this past week, but that sword is a huge sword. Yeah, the bigger the sword is, the harder it attacks things, it turns out, I guess. So, all right, let's nice. The only problem is that I do like the ability of the axe to do ranged attacks is better, and the push knockback of the hammer is definitely a nice bonus for that particular thing. Okay, so that's the exit, but I feel like I don't want to exit yet because I don't have the chalice. So, alright. Sorry, I'm settling back in after all the stress of attempting to get the stream working. It's like adrenaline for me. I know that's stupid, but it is the way it is. Alright, what does this tell me? Enable dragon armor, seek out any remaining dragons. I already killed... What? I have the dragon armor. I don't know what you're talking about. Unable to pass through the fiery dragon gate. Only use this alternative route if none other is available. Oh, okay. So that's not the actual exit, and the way that I can get through the dragon fire is by putting on the dragon armor. Okay, now it makes sense. I'm like, yeah, I have this armor that protects me from fire, but then when I see a fire thing, I don't think, maybe I should use it to walk through the fire. Yeah, no Kekistanis allowed. I agree. A couple days ago in a discussion of the James Damore memo, I commented that I felt that there was a distinction between the alt-right and Nazis. Specifically, the line that I drew was that, in my mind, Nazis, white supremacists, etc., made up the large majority of the alt-right, but that I felt that there was a significant funding source behind these efforts of people who just want to watch the world burn, and they don't care how or why. All they want is more money. At the time, people pushed back and said the alt-right is white supremacists, and I'm willing to fully admit now, I was wrong. Well, I do still stand by the fact that I think that there are people who really do not care about white supremacy, who are only in it for the money, who are only in it because they want to watch the world burn and to make a quick buck off of it. To try and separate the alt-right from Nazis, from white supremacists, is a completely insane idea, because no matter what the point of the alt-right was or is, it is clear that attempting to separate them from the Nazis that walk our streets is crazy. While the alt-right idea, the idea of men's rights activists and other things like that, was perhaps at some point not solely a white supremacy movement, while it is possible that these people may have seen something other than that in themselves or in their ideals, it is now impossible to separate them, because the ideas behind men's rights activism and alt-right ideologies and everything else like that lead directly to white supremacy and Nazism. You are seeing the results of that after the rally in Charlottesville yesterday. You are seeing the results of that in the death of a woman who said, if you're not enraged, you're not paying attention. The alt-right has no home with me. The alt-right has no truck with me. You no longer are welcome in my space. I don't care if it's Pepe the Frog or Trump 2020. I don't care if it's Go Nazis Go or 14 words. I don't care what the fuck it is. In every space that I have a voice in, I will seek to see your voice snuffed out. The way that one person afraid of nothing could run down a crowd of protesters and kill a 32-year-old woman who just wanted things to be better. Fuck you, Pepe the Frog-loving, alt-right, Nazi flag-waving assholes. If you're experiencing problems with buffering on the stream, please definitely submit a buffering report to the link in the chat. Something is wrong with the stream, please do that. Okay, so now I have unlocked these gates by stepping on buttons. Unlock the chalice, which I can't do anything with yet because I still need to kill another enemy. Yeah, I mean, Pepe used to be good, and I totally understand that it is not the case that Pepe was created as a bad thing. But at this point, Pepe is indicative of a particular system of, you know, interaction. It is a symbol used for hate, and it is unfortunate that Pepe has been a symbol used for hate. It is unfortunate, and I do not blame the creator at all, but it is no longer the case that Pepe can be used in any way other than as a symbol of that hatred. It is no longer the case that Pepe is any different than the Kekistan flag. It is no different than anything else like that. It is no longer possible to use that symbol without normalizing that hatred. And so while I do not control every space that I'm in, and while I do not set the rules for every space that I have access to, I do know that in the spaces that I control, in my spaces, Pepe is not welcome. Alright, where's the freaking chalice? I opened the gate. Not there. Okay, so we came in here, go back all the way back to the beginning, and just start from here. All right, here we go. Rotate that. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You're confused about what happened. Falcon Man, what happened when? Yesterday there was a Nazi march in Charlottesville, Virginia. The Nazi march was shut down due to the unsafe environment, and was, you know, replaced, the alt-right, you know, groups that created the march and were attempting to march in favor of white supremacy were shut down. But in the process, they you know, as one of the as counter protesters were walking down the street, some, you know, 20-something white kid drove into a crowd of protesters at about 40 miles per hour, killing a 32-year-old woman named Heather something. I don't remember her last name at the moment. Heather Heyer. And so, yeah, so that's what happened yesterday, is a white supremacist ran down a crowd. Yep. All right. So we got that guy who's going to give me something. Got anything else live here?
Danielle.
I have no idea what it is either. Looks like it's a magical longbow. Cool. Oh. I like that attack. Yeah, so the march in Charlottesville was theoretically to defend a statue of Robert E. Lee, right? Statue of Robert E. Lee, or some Civil War hero that was put up after the KKK did something in the 1920s, as Van Helsing points out. All right, let's see what we got now. We got the Haunted Ruins. That's right, Jetty Lee. Is that Jetty Lee? Robbie E. Lee? Okay, I got the right idea. Alright, so I want to not kill those villagers, but I do want to kill the Shadow Fiends. Chickens! Eat the food, chickens! I don't know anything, as usual. Brad makes all these pop culture jokes making fun of me, and I never know what any of them are about. Is that a switch? Come on, chickens, eat the food. Eat the food, uncover the switch. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. I opened the gate. Haha! Since the farmers have been captured by the shadow demons, the animals here have gone hungry. Well, now I have fed them, so now they're no longer hungry. Good job. So I guess that's one thing about this game, is that I oftentimes felt like it was not sufficiently clear to me what was going on. But if I actually read the books placed throughout the levels that told me exactly what to do, it might actually be more clear. The farmers are being held in the courtyard. The shadow demons will sacrifice the captives to the flames, slay the demons, and release the farmers. Okay, so let's find the demons. I don't see the demons. Aha, demons are over there. Alright, let's use this axe. Oh no! Alright, I killed the demon. Oh no! No, demon! No! Shit. They all died. I mean, does Trump know of David Duke? I mean, of course he does. Like, everyone, like, I know David Duke, so, you know, Trump is a white supremacist. He was supported by white supremacists throughout his campaign. The reason he can't call out white supremacy is because he's part of the movement. Someone joked that, you know, Trump is looking to call out white supremacy as soon as he figures out his kids weren't part of the march yesterday. Like, he is a white supremacist. He benefits. He is the biggest symbol of white supremacy there is. He is unwilling to call out the Nazis, and they see that and rejoice in it. The Daily Stormer has been celebrating Trump's weak sauce attacks on the you know, running down other people in Charlottesville yesterday. David Duke was a former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. I don't know. I feel like, you know, he's certainly a passive, you know, I've got a like a moderate Nazi is just like a white person in America, the type of person who sits by and benefits from white supremacy without doing anything about it. Like, it's, I don't know. I don't think that he doesn't realize it. I think that, like, okay, so I don't know if he realizes anything anymore, because I think, frankly, he is a, like, demented old man who has very little understanding of what is going on in his life and mostly just says what people tell him to say. But insofar as he is told what to say by, you know, Steve Bannon and his, and you know, grade C Nazi Stephen Miller, I think that he is a, you know, being advised and governed by the principles of white supremacy. I need to do something real quick here. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Do. Da, 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 da. Bomb. Bomb. Okay. Oh, where was that? Where was that? Da, 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 da. Yesterday, President Trump said that the violence had happened on both sides. He's not wrong. There was violence on both sides. There was violence from the people seeking to snuff out an entire race or culture. And there were people who want to see this country be what it should be. People who fought back against the idea that white lives are all that matter. People who fought back against the idea that minorities should be persecuted and attacked. People who fought back against the ideas that Nazis should rise again in America in 2017. People who fought back against the idea of white supremacy by attempting to force those people out of our homes, as we should. They fought back against people carrying guns. They fought back against people carrying sticks. They fought back against people beating the living shit out of people and running them down with cars. They fought back against the ideas that allow someone to do that. So while yes, Black Lives Matter and Antifa and all of the names that you might want to attach to something, yes, they did perpetrate violence. They perpetrated violence against people who want to kill them, people who want to destroy their lives. They perpetrated violence to protect us all. When someone says, I want to kill you, you don't wait for them to kill you before you engage in self-defense. You don't wait for them to kill you before you reach out and say, no, not here, not in my name, not ever. You don't wait for someone to stab you before you try to take away their knife. You stand by and you say, not in my name, and you push those fuckers out. The tiki torch wielding assholes who beat the shit out of a group of counter-protesters are the same Nazi flag waving assholes bearing rifles that walked through the streets of Charlottesville yesterday, the same people who took sticks and beat the living tar out of people for no reason other than because they didn't like the color of their skin. Yes, there was violence on both sides. But only one side was right, and the other side was white supremacists attempting to destroy the lives of millions. Is Pence better than Trump? I mean, it doesn't really matter at the moment. We have Pence and Trump. Is just Pence better than Pence and Trump? Yes. I think that much is clear to me. It like the LGBT, the transsexual ban, transgender ban in the military was absolutely a part of the Pence regime within the White House. The abandonment of the LGBT defense by the DOJ is Pence at his core. These are Pence values being espoused and perpetrated through Trump. Do I want Pence as president? No. Do I want Pence as vice president? No. But do I want Trump as president and Pence as vice president? No, I want that less than either of those things. Oh shit. That's like oil. Okay. I should read this book that tells me what to do with this oil. Tell me what to do, book. Hot scalding oil. Close the oil vents before crossing. Okay. I don't know why they use tiki torches, Jan. That is not a thing I fully understand. It's certainly an interesting choice. I think that the Ralph Lauren polo look that they're going for is also a little bit silly, but seems to be their current approach. So I don't know if this is a like in general, these are people who don't know how to shop anywhere other than the local Target. Yeah, I saw that Pence touched a thing at NASA that said "Do not touch," but that was like. Like they said, yes, it says do not touch, but if you were not actually allowed to touch it, we wouldn't have allowed you near it because we're not idiots. Because we don't expect you to be able to follow a simple sign. Okay, so I need to get an earth rune in order to come in here and turn off the oil. I have a chaos rune now, which I did not have before, which will allow me to get through a gate over here, I think. I don't remember exactly where it is, but I know I saw it. I mean, I will also admit that if someone was going to be like, hey, let's do a torchlit, thing, I don't know that I would know how to make a torch either, so I shouldn't criticize too much. My skills at torch wielding are equally subpar to those of the Nazis. Alright, so let's pull out my dragon armor so I don't get burned by fire. Read the book. Long ago, blah blah blah, now foul demons, blah blah blah. Okay. I have like an item I can use here. Nope. Whoa! I did not realize that was going to happen. Let's pull out my axe. Okay, seriously? Can't hit this stupid thing. Ugh. Crossbow, there we go. There we go. Again, killing all the things, not because I need to, but just because I'm going to... Oh god! Need it for the chalice. Hello, attentive owl. How are you? I'm okay. I mean, I'm okay. I am very saddened about the events of our country over the past few days. It makes me sad that I have to tell people that our president won't say white supremacy was at fault for things that were perpetrated by white supremacists. Makes me upset. The like general behavior of you know, both sides, whataboutism and both sidesism when we have Nazis walking the streets makes me upset. I'm drastically rethinking my approach and feelings on free speech and hate speech. I'm considering how we can perform de-radicalization in the face of, you know, YouTube videos teaching people that this is the right thing to do, feeling complicit for my behavior in many ways over the past little while about the entire drama that has come across, so... As someone who has been a strong proponent of free speech, a supporter of the ACLU, even when they do things that I disagree with, etc., it's hard for me to sit here and know that it is likely that the actions of the ACLU, you know, allowed this violence to get to where it was, while people carrying guns and waving Nazi flags walk our streets. I mean, we're back to Madison Square Garden in 1939, where jackbooted Nazis rallied 80,000 people. Find his crown. Okay. Need to find a crown. Oh shit. Fuck. Are the Nazis' beliefs still the same as the World War II Nazis? I mean, effectively, you know, I don't know that it's necessarily the direct, you know, Third Reich 1,000-year plan selection, but white supremacy is white supremacy and still is very much the same as it was then, as it is now. It is, I don't know, it is a little bit weird that all these people, like, with no avatar come in, ask one question, and then, like, I never see them again. I feel like it's a, I mean, I don't know, it's a very weird feeling. I don't know exactly where did you come from, dank meme? Who are you? I don't want to interrogate people, but it's just weird. It makes me feel odd. So yeah, I mean, there's always been this idea of, but like last night it was very like, or Friday night it was, you know, blood and soil, which is a Nazi chant. It was, you know, whites will, or Jews will not replace us. You will not replace us. So anti-Jewish, pro-white supremacy, is the very much still the model of what is going on. Hello, Catlock Jackson. Welcome to the stream. Okay. So I need the Earth rune, which I don't have. I mean, Trump avoids talking about hate crimes against Jewish people. He avoids talking about hate crimes against black people. He avoids talking about like calling things terrorist attacks when they're like about Muslim people and other things like that. So, in general, yes, Trump refuses to call the ongoing nationalist terrorism in this country what it is. I don't know, like, well, I mean, the reality is that I think that Jewish hate all comes back down to the same underlying perception of Jews as, you know, the people who rule the world, right? So this is the belief that, oh, is that the Earth rune? It is the Earth rune, okay. The belief that Jews, you know, are running the country and Jews are doing this and doing that, etc., is very much the white nationalist perspective that is what drives that. So because Jews are successful in their minds, they are to be, issued, and there are other, right? Like the white nationalism part of this is the nationalism part, which is not just about your national identity as, I'm from the U.S. or whatever, but a race as a race, and Jewish people are attacked for that reason. Yes, controlled by the worldwide Jewish conspiracy is just as Flair on the subreddit drama subreddit. So the Jews are secret. So the world is run secretly by lizard people. I know is something that came up in a survey that was designed to determine whether people actually listen to telephone polls. So approximately 7% of people in a telephone poll said that they believed that that the leaders of the world were whatever.
Secretly lizards.
Yeah, they're secret lizard people. Zarek's army of shadow demons hide beneath us within this very mountain.
We speak, to invade fair Gallowmere. If we are to thwart his plans, we must bring down the castle on top of them. We must unleash the lava behind the floodgate. Of course, it's split.
Oh, good. This can only go well. When a dead skeleton is like, I am freaked out by this, that's a problem. Are you okay? Okay.
Actually, just heard my entire disc.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's warm in here. I do not think any of the 7% actually believes that. No, I believe that it is a side effect of polling, that this is something you get when you do polls via telephone, and I think that's the intent of the point. Okay. Escape the ensuing inferno. Okay, I have no idea how to kill these golems. Apparently it's not like that. Maybe the magic longbow. Nope. Maybe it's... Did I try the dragon armor already? My favorite console is the NES. Oh, I have to push them into the fire. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I got the earth rune now. Shit, I'm not gonna get the chalice. Shit. Alright, shadow demons everywhere. Shadow demon. Where did I have to go through here? Oh, crap. Hello, Nemec Mick and Hitmontop. Hello. Yeah, so NES is my favorite console, mostly out of nostalgia. I am heavily influenced by nostalgia. So it is what I grew up playing, and therefore what I like the most. Alright, so let me hit this thing. To open up the gate out of here. Maybe. It doesn't seem like it actually did as much as I wanted. I don't know what else I can do. Huh. So that seemed to destroy the top of that, but... Anyway, not much is up. My start of my stream didn't go super well because of YouTube being broken, but it seems like everything has smoothed out now. Ha! Launch myself. Alright, so I did not get the chalice there, but I don't actually think I have any other weapons that I'm really concerned about from the chalices, so I think that's okay. Yes, save, save, save. No. So I will go back to the graveyard where I can get some quick life, and then I will move on to the next level. So yeah, I am sad that we allow Nazis to walk our streets. I have long been a supporter of the idea of free speech, but I think now that there are some aspects where we are seeing that the symbols of Nazism are no longer just symbols. Well, maybe they never were. Like, I say no longer, but I am accepting that they never were in a way that I did not before, and believe that allowing the symbols to be used in pretty much any way is harmful in and of itself. Germany and Austria have strict rules against displaying of Nazi paraphernalia, and I think that that is the way to go. It is clear that this is not working. Now, I think it is also the case that it is definitely not going to be the case that you know, banning the symbols allows you to kill Nazism or white supremacy. This is a country that was raised and based on white supremacy. We have a long way to go in order to make a meaningful difference in the problems that we face in this country for white supremacy, but you have to start somewhere. And so, like, banning the swastika is something that I am strongly supportive of. I just, like, I do not accept that this is something that you can allow in modern society. It just falls apart. No, there are some Germans, well, there are some people everywhere who deny that the Holocaust happened. It is in part difficult to contemplate that something so terrible happened, but Germany as a country absolutely does not deny that the Holocaust happened or Hitler existed or anything else like that. What they don't allow is for people to do the, you know, Hitler/Nazi salute. What they don't allow is for people to state the Holocaust didn't happen. Holocaust denial is illegal. Yeah, I mean, my hope is that this weekend was not a victory for Nazis. I mean, so I have been, you know, frightened about the riots that were planned for Charlottesville for months. I've been following Emily Groshenski, who is a trans activist based in Charlottesville and has been speaking out about this for forever. And so I have seen this coming and been worried about what would happen. I expected people to die. When you bring a whole bunch of heavily armed Nazi militias into a city full of people who are, you know, that is 20% black, the idea that there was going to be no deaths in this situation was not plausible. And I am disappointed that it happened, but I hope that this can act as a catalyst to have us, you know, step up and do something better. Yes, we should ban the Confederate flag too. At the moment, I'm pretty much like, fuck free speech. So, I mean, a more reasoned position will be something that I will come to over the coming weeks. But at the moment, I'm pretty much like, fuck the ACLU, like, fuck Nazi flags, fuck Confederate flags, fuck your freedom of speech. You are killing people. You are supporting a racist and white supremacist vision in this country that I do not support or believe in. And I believe strongly that we need to, like, find ways to improve this situation and move forward. I feel very much that we are, you know, on a tipping point, and now is the time to accept that we have failed. Hello, David Villata. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I mean, I think that for, you know, educational purposes, I don't know how Germany handles Nazi imagery in, like, school textbooks and things like that. I would be interested to know. I mean, at this point, the hate speech rules in the US are basically, you know, it's hate speech if it incites violence. And I just feel like a level of incitement is too narrow. I think is basically my perception at this point. That is not enough of a standard to work from. All right, I guess I fell onto whatever this is. The ghost ship. The Eagles! The Eagles are coming! I mean, the KKK and the Nazis both have the same beliefs. I don't think that you can make some kind of easy comparison between them to say which one is worse, better, whatever. I don't think it's that simple.
To know we have a stone.
Good. I want that.
Is that really necessary?
Look, there's not a man-jack on this ship who wouldn't keep.
Alrighty. That was a bit too much death for me, but... Oh god. Okay, well that wasn't the path anyway. That's fine. Oh god. Hey, Kashi! That's right! Luckily I have a magic sword, so we're all good now. Using my axe was a fool's game. Yeah, so they both believe in the same ideals. They both believe in white supremacy. They both believe in the subjugation of the lesser races. They both believe in all of these things. And so, like, to try and draw the distinction between them is more an individual basis than a statement you can make in general, I feel like. Both are bad and not acceptable. The KKK should not be allowed to operate. The Nazis should not be allowed. I am upset that we have allowed the idea, and the reality is that, you know, freedom of speech is always racially charged. You know, defending freedom of speech tends to be, you know, we defend the least among us in order to defend the most among us, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a nice thing in theory, but in practice that's not how it actually works, because if, you know, black people had freedom of speech, they would not be shot in the street for peacefully protesting. You would have seen the same amount of, you know, tear gas last night as you did in, you know, Ferguson or other things like that. We're continuing to allow the built-in white supremacy in our history and our past and baked into our society control the conversation. And so that means that, you know, while in theory I can defend freedom of speech, in practice it is clear that I cannot do it in the way that we are doing it today. So we've got to find a different and better way. Okay, so I need a star rune. I have some other rune. Moon rune. I have a moon rune. Okay. Oh, crap. Almost made it. Okay, so I think I need to go back to where I came from. So let's try this. This. Fuck. I mean, I'm a strong believer in repealing the Second Amendment, but while we have the Second Amendment in place, I believe that it is a mistake to attempt to ban handguns. I think that we should not pretend that we have a right to bear arms while removing that practical right, because it is just going to make things more difficult. We should acknowledge that guns are something that assists the state and not something that individuals need, and not something that is a constitutionally protected right. I don't believe that will ever happen, and so in the situation that we have where no one will support a constitutional ban on handguns, do I believe that we should make them illegal? Yeah, I fully support the state's rights to limit access to handguns in order to protect the safety of their citizenry. I live in a state that makes it very difficult to get handgun permits, and I feel that's the way it should be. I did accept that the idea of give all the guns to Van Helsing instead of banning them entirely would not be the worst idea ever. Of course, then his truck got broken into and people stole guns from him, and you are reminded why handguns can easily go into the hands of the wrong people. So. Dennis, I'm streaming tomorrow too. I'm just streaming an extra day this week. We're gonna try and finish up this game today. This has been a 3-part game for me, which is pretty unusual. So I wanted to try and finish it off so I could open up something new tomorrow. We're gonna probably be pulling out Spyro tomorrow, and then next week I won't be around because I'll be on vacation, and I wanted to get an extra stream in to give all of you a reward. So. Your name is what? Your name is who my name is. Oh, hi. My name is what? My name is who? My name is Chicka Chicka Slim Shady. Fuck! Yeah, I mean, fingerprint stuff and everything else like that is absolutely like a better way, and generally like good gun safes and everything else like that. And it's like, that's all well and good, but I just don't believe that there's any reason for people to own handguns in the first place. It only increases death. It's a public safety issue. It's a public health crisis, effectively. And to ignore it as a public health crisis is ignoring an important, thing that we can do something about. Why continue to have guns when tens of thousands of people die to gunshot wounds every year? Why continue to have guns when we continue to see, the mass shootings are one thing, and I know that those are what get the most attention in the press and everything else like that, but just like people die every day due to gunshots that are completely unnecessary. More children die more like toddlers kill more people every year than terrorists. It's a terrible situation we've gotten ourselves in, and we shouldn't perpetuate it. We should get past it. Stop pretending that you're going to be able to fight the government with guns, and create good protections from the government in the first place. Create good checks and balances that can protect people from the evil tyranny of government. Have something other than the imperial presidency with strong wartime powers over terrorism and everything else like that. Like, do you really think that you have the ability to win in a fight against the U.S. military because you have a handgun? If so, like, what are you smoking, and where can I get some of it? Because that does not make sense in the slightest. How do I get out of here? Is there a door over here? Yeah, it feels like I'm being asked to write an 8th grade essay all the time recently. I don't know what exactly I've done to embrace that. It wasn't entirely intentional. Van Helsing, I understand that your howitzer could do something. I honestly don't think it could take out the average US tank, but I will admit that my knowledge of our current tank armored artillery fleet is pretty weak, so maybe you're right. What's up? It's all about ethics and gun ownership. Oh, is there a thing in the middle? Is that what I need to look at? So the statistic that people use in order to determine whether two data sets correlate, that is, if the lines go in the same direction, are R values. R values are basically a measure of, if I drew these two lines on a plot, how closely would they line up? And the thing about this is, like, as with any statistical thing, you can find these really, interesting correlations that are probably not actually, highly correlated. And so our values give, like, a number, between 0 and 1 that is an approximate, like, how well do these values correlate. But if you take enough different data sets and line them up, you will find that there are a lot of correlations that are kind of dubious. So, for example, a correlation that is a little bit surprising is the US spending on science, space, and technology, which correlates with suicides by hanging, strangulation, and suffocation at a 99.79% level. If you look at the numbers, the more money we spend on space and technology, the more people who kill themselves by hanging, strangulation, and suffocation. Per capita cheese consumption correlates with the number of people who die by becoming tangled in their bed sheets. Now, admittedly, this correlation is only 94.71%, but still a pretty strong correlation. On the other hand, the divorce rate in Maine correlates with the per capita consumption of margarine at 99.26% from 2000 to 2009. And the age of Miss America correlates with the murders by steam, hot vapors, and hot objects by an 87% correlation. Now, I will admit that the number of murders by steam, hot vapors, and hot objects ranges only between 2 and 7 murders per year between 1999 and 2009, but that is, okay. One thing that I think is maybe not a spurious correlation is the idea that the total revenue generated by arcades correlates with computer science doctorates awarded in the US. So computer science doctorates in the US are going to correlate to some level with the interest in technology, and especially in the current world with male interest in technology. And total revenue generated by arcades is a number that's going to also correlate with interest in technology, and maybe male interest in technology a little bit more. At least the stereotypical mindset of total revenue generated by arcades is a bunch of guys who are playing arcade games all night long. Another thing that was interesting to me in looking at this graph is that there is between 1.2 billion and 1.75 billion dollars generated by arcades between 2000 and 2009, which is something that I did not realize. A website you can go to check these out is tylervigen.com/spurious-correlations. I'll put a link in the description below, and there's a lot more interesting correlations on this website. you can check out or make your own. It has a whole bunch of different data sets that you can try and set up and see, you know, how they correlate and see the graphs and everything else like that as well. But yeah, spurious correlations, beware of them. And just because a number points in a particular direction doesn't mean that those data necessarily correlate because of some causal factor. It is very unlikely that there is any causal factor between increased spending on technology and the 9,000 suicides per year by hanging, strangulation, and suffocation. Yeah, so I called them spurious correlations, I think illusory correlations. So illusory I would think of as generally being more like, no, it's not really there, whereas these are there, they're just not necessarily, there's just no causation, right? Like correlation is not causation, even though it sometimes feels like it is. And I think that's what this is a symptom of more so than anything else. There we go. Killed the blue guy. But it could also be that there's a term that applies here that I'm not using correctly as well. Like I'm not ruling that out either. Okay. Let's take our club, light it on fire. I'm gonna die. Yes, I am. Okay. Okay. And there. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the point really here is that correlation is not causation, which is a common like trope in many ways and in many, you know, fields, but is oftentimes kind of like people like they say it and they know it, but they don't always like think about it in that way. And so like spurious correlations is a key thing and a key useful tool to kind of demonstrate that no, just because two things correlate doesn't mean there's anything related to them. Because if you told someone like, hey, I don't really think that there's any relationship between, you know, these two things, they're probably going to believe you about, you know, technology spending and death by strangulation. Like, there's not a whole lot of people who are going to be like, oh, I definitely think that that's a definitely like a real thing. And so you can actually make progress in having that conversation. One more. Get out of here. All right, switch to club. Light the club. Hit this guy. Come on, get him. Yes! I have no idea where the chalice is. All right. Favorite game series is probably Mega Man or Super Mario Brothers. I really love Super Mario Brothers 3, and I also love Mega Man 2 and 3. Chalice. Okay. Yeah, the one who was like, I thought he was just going to you know, a Trump rally. Take care, Jen. Thank you. I appreciate you hanging out. I'm glad you were able to make it. And glad I could stream at a time when you're actually awake, which I know is not the typical. Somewhere there's got to be a... Ah. Final level? I don't think this is the final level. This is the final stream. But I've still got a little bit more to do. Alright. So I think I have to go through here. Oh, fuck! I don't know where I tossed my save. Can I rotate this? There we go. Okay. Come on back up. Yeah, I think I've got a few more after this even before Zarek's Lair, right? Alright, so take this across, pick up another energy vial, run past these guys, and out the exit. Sailing on the ghost ship. Yeah, so I've got the time device, and then Zarek's Lair. So almost there. Oh, the entrance hall. The entrance hall, and the time device.
Wouldn't this make a wonderful
Trump can golf, whatever. Like, I think the bigger problem is not that Trump is golfing, but that Trump is not doing other things he needs to be doing. He's not, you know, engaging in running his policy. He's not engaging in driving his politics. He's not doing anything that is really the typical for people who, all right, lightning. I like that. I don't know how it works though. So yeah, I have no problem. I have no qualms about people doing whatever works best for them in their work environment. I am not the type of person to criticize someone just because they are, you know, working in a different way than I am. I know the people that work in different ways. They work and use different, you know, skills and tools and everything else like that. And there is no reason to, you know, not do that. But when he goes off to his clubs, or he goes off to New Jersey, or goes off to wherever thing else, like he is, you know, participating in something that is less good. The entrance hall. Yeah, Golden, he was totally wrong on that. He definitely did not do more than any president in the first 200 days. All right, I just realized I didn't actually go fill up my life, which I should have, so I'm not going to save state here. I'm just going to use my save from that previous thing after I die, so I'll wander around a bit and see how it goes. I don't think I'm going to be able to beat this with no vials. Oh, this is a pathetically easy level. Apparently. Yeah, he's not. He's the only reason that we have so many jobs now is because of the economic the economic policies of any president don't start doing things until much later, right? With the exception of like Obama got a major stimulus package passed in his first 9 months in office, and so he was able to have like a meaningful impact right away, but it was through spending like $1 trillion. Like, we have not made any $1 trillion changes in our economy, so the idea that we have had a $1 trillion effect is silly. Like, we have not done that, and so yeah. I don't even joke about assassinating the president. This is a bad idea. It's a not good thing to say, even as a joke. It's the type of thing that can get you in trouble. How are you not dying? There you go. All right, cool. Yes. Alright, time device. So we're gonna go fill up our life first. So yeah, I think that, you know, if someone wants to do a really hard job and wants to relax by playing golf, or even wants to, you know, use playing golf as one of the aspects of their job, if the way that you can think is by, you know, being, you know, on the golf course, like, I'm not gonna, you know, say that you can't do that, but you still have to do the job. He is clearly not doing the job. He is clearly not listening to, you know, his excuse was, I'm not a politician, but I'll just hire the smartest people. He has hired some smart people, although very few, but he doesn't listen to them, so that was clearly bullshit. Like, he is a dreadfully harmful president, is drastically harming all of our institutions, in addition to his unwillingness to call out white supremacists and terrorists for their actions. He is not okay. This is a one-off, well, sort of one-off AWOL. I might be able to squeeze in a couple more over the summer before I go back to church to do a Sunday stream. When I ran the poll, I got some evidence that people wanted to see both Saturday and Sunday streams, but less so other weekdays. So been gonna try and squeeze in a few extras here and there. I've got a vacation coming up in the week of the 21st, and so I will not be around as much, and so wanted to get some extra stream time in with all of you. I also have been, you know, with this game, I generally try and keep things to 1 week for a stream so that I can, you know, go on to new games pretty regularly, and so that is why, you know, this is my third stream of this game, and I wanted to kind of get it done and be able to start off a new week playing something new, probably Spyro. You know, this game is definitely a pretty cool 3D platformer in the mold of other PlayStation platformers, but it's very dark. The low draw distance doesn't help, but it's also just a very dark theme, and so something kind of cheerful and brightly colored like Spyro is on my list next. So, yeah. So we're just trying to finish this game off. We've got about 2 more levels here. We're going to have to beat the time device and then move on to Xerox Lair, after which we will be done with this game, finishing up this stream, and picking up tomorrow with Spyro. Am I an SJW? Actually, I'm a social justice mage or paladin, usually. No, not mage. Paladin or priest. So I'm a social justice priest. I have some friends who are social justice rogues, etc., etc. Yes, I'm a social justice warrior. Absolutely. I am a militant social justice warrior, and actively in favor of, you know, many social justice progressive policies, unsurprisingly. I would probably be that too, Born Depressed. I don't actually play a lot of D&D, so I don't actually know that for sure, I guess. Alright, what do we got here? The time device. Nah, I don't think so. I appreciate the offer, though. Alright, I'm just gonna wander this level and play it through. See how it goes. That's right, Shadow Guard, die! No, so I played D&D once when I was in college. It was not a really great experience for reasons that are unrelated to D&D and are entirely related to the DM, who is a bit of a sexist dick. So... No, PewDiePie is a unique phenomenon who will likely never happen again. His growth is vastly outstripped almost anyone else, and it's basically in the same way that Gangnam Style was came from an era where YouTube was much more localized is the wrong word, but much more focused on specific content. So Gangnam Style was, you know, got 1 billion views in its first 160 days, but in that sense, it was, while that number has been beat as a relative portion of YouTube, like, content views, etc., it's come nowhere close. You know, comparing the numbers at that time, it is more like getting 7.5 billion views today, which still nothing has done. And so I think that you're in a situation where PewDiePie has a similar behavior. He was able to see because of when he was creating content and do that. So while you will certainly see people who will in the future be able to successfully achieve, you know, however many 60 million subscribers he has or whatever else like that, you're unlikely to see anyone else who's able to take up as much of a portion of the total content as him, because the website is so much more diverse, so many more voices and everything else like that. So yeah. Alright, what do you want to tell me?
Using a dark magic called science, Zarok has constructed a device based around the mechanical measurement of time. The innards of this chronograph are fiendishly complicated. Keep your eye on the flying timepieces and get ready to reset the hands of the master time clock.
Alright. Does this always say the same time? It does. Okay. That's the 6 and the 5 for the gold and the silver. It looks like there's a thing up there that I can affect, but I don't know how to get there. Oh. Aha! Okay. Okay. So 1 million views will get you about $1,000 on average. It varies based on a lot of reasons. You know, if you're a music content creator, it'll be very different. If you are creating content that is, you know, more generally and broadly appealing with a wider range of audience, you will be able to get, you know, slightly higher rates. If you are a new creator without any deals set up with, you know, advertisers, you will get slightly lower rates. There's all kinds of things that influence it, but in general, on average, figure $1,000 or $1 per 1,000 views. So 1 million views is worth about $1,000. There's a lot of things that can control that, of course. You know, on a lot of content from PewDiePie, you're probably seeing the effect of copyright claims, especially Nintendo content will typically have copyright claims. So when he has 2 million views on that, you're not going to see as much. He is a creator who has a lot of kind of more extreme videos. You know, his videos about, you know, not like death to Jews or whatever he had people hold up a sign for had got him in trouble. And so those will tend to limit your revenue as well, etc., etc. I mean, the reality is that the difference between, you know, making $1 per 1,000 views and $1.10 per 1,000 views is not the primary thing that affects people's revenue generation at the low level. You don't make it more effective. The reality is that if you want to make more money, you got to get more views, you've got to get more attention, you got to get more people who want to see your content. You got to not have the same people watching your content over and over, because if your goal is broad reach, then you can't, you know, just have the same 7 people watch your content all the time. And the reality is that anyone making less than, you know, 100,000 views a month is just not ever going to be a very, you know, be able to monetize that and make a living off of it via direct advertising. So I think what is more interesting, of course, is alternative sources of revenue and monetization, right? Like I make $60 a month via my Patreon and am able to monetize my content that way. And I think YouTube will, you know, has invested in Super Chat and other things like that, and so on and so forth. So I think that that for looking into and making progress in alternative forms of revenue generation and monetization is much more interesting than anything else in that space. I want to get in there. Huh. I think I went the wrong way. I don't know which boundaries you're thinking of specifically. In general, make family-friendly, generally appealing content that is interesting to a broad range of people is the way to make money. Your goal should be to create content which is appealing to a large swath of users. This is how you know, both grow your channel and grow your chance to monetize your channel. I opened that. Oh shit. The reality is that very few people live off of YouTube without alternative revenue streams, AWOL. Most YouTube creators that I've talked to at VidCon suggest that YouTube only generates between 50% and between like 20% and 50% of their total revenue comes from YouTube. The rest of it comes from alternative revenue sources like Patreon, guest speaking, you know, merchandise, other things like that. I'm confused. I feel like there must be a part of the level I'm missing. In James Damore's now famous memo, he called for reducing our dependence on empathy, or de-emphasizing empathy. De-emphasizing empathy is probably the single worst idea of a thing that I can think of to do in creating better software products. Now, this was stated and argued by Jonathan Zunger, who is a ex-Googler who spoke out about this and explained that many of the things in the memo, it's not the problem just that you misunderstand biology or science or anything else like that. The problem is that you just don't understand what it takes to be a good software engineer. But this particular bit got to me. This particular bit got to me because empathy is one of the few things that I'm actually better than average at in working as a software developer. One of the things that I pride myself on is my ability to attempt to hear the user and do something about their plight, to hear the user and do something about what they're asking for, to hear the user and move forward and make the world a better place for that user's experience. One of the things that I have always tried to do is to make sure that I put myself in the shoes of a user, no matter whether they are the average user or an exceptional user, whether they're a tail case or whatever. I work very hard to understand the flaws and problems that my users go through in whatever product I'm working on, whether it's an open source project I'm working on, or whether it's a project that I am maintaining at a company, whether I am working on map search, or whether I'm working on YouTube, whether I'm working on video quality, or whether I'm working on gaming, whether I'm working on anything. My goal is to figure out who the users are and what their problems will be so we can fix them. In many cases, the social skills that are required in order to do this are undervalued. Tech support staff is underpaid and undervalued. People who work hard to create better products by interacting with users are oftentimes undervalued. UX designers are ignored or eschewed or etc. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. The idea that de-emphasizing empathy would create better products rather than worse products is so against the entire idea of creating user-facing products. Sure, if all we're doing is creating robots that assemble widgets into wadgets, and we don't have to worry anything else like that about how it interacts with human beings on the other end, if we are such that all we are doing is not interacting with people at all, perhaps there is a space in the world where it would be a good idea to de-emphasize empathy. Perhaps there is some job that you can imagine like that. But the idea that that job is a software developer at a company that interacts with more than 2 billion users every month, the idea that it would be the type of thing that you would want in a case where you are the platform for search and video and advertising around the world, the idea that all of the people who use our products don't deserve the most empathy we can give them when trying to understand the problems that they face is ridiculous. It's an intentional attempt to de-emphasize the aspects that the author feels are more likely to be attributable to women, so that he can de-emphasize their role in the software engineering company that he feels himself doing less well at because he's a mediocre, entitled jackass. De-emphasize empathy? I got some empathy for you right here, kid. Yes, I work at Google. I am a software engineer working on video infrastructure and development, doing work to make sure your YouTube videos play well. One of the reasons that I have a YouTube gaming channel that I work on is to understand the problems that users face in running YouTube gaming channels, and so that I can try and fix them ideally before they become problems. I don't always succeed. Sometimes I make mistakes and sometimes we miss things, but you know, when I have things like earlier today and I couldn't stream, I know that because I was able to you know, be a streamer who ran into that problem. So Chillzone, it's not the only one. There is also Twitch allows it for partners, and it is also the case that it exists for VidMe partners. So there are a couple other platforms now that allow monetization of videos, but it's pretty rare. Mostly YouTube is where you want to be if you want to make money. And it's not just the only video site, it's pretty much the only site, period, that allows monetization on user-created content. That's pretty much like exceptional insofar as YouTube has been the only platform that allows that for a decade. I guess Facebook also allows this now if you are a verified partner or something along those lines. So they are moving in the right direction-ish, I guess. But still got a ways to go. Okay, so what do we got going on here? Okay. So yeah, YouTube is definitely the most open monetization platform for any UGC content creation options that exist. As far as I know, it has been that way for a long time now, and it is, you know, a very impressive thing that we were able to do that. Some of the reasons we were able to do that is via things like Content ID, which has allowed us to protect ourselves from abusive, you know, to allow copyright holders to monetize content that is theirs. That has been a huge benefit in creating YouTube as a successful, you know, thing that's going on, because it means that we are able to keep the copyright holders happy, something that is a real risk when you are allowing UGC, because a lot of UGC is created using the IP of other companies. I mean, I'm doing that right now in a way that I consider to be fair use, but it is not necessarily considered that way by everyone who is involved. And so to allow the copyright holders to have that control over their IP is really important to creating an effective monetization ecosystem. Facebook is absolutely a threat to YouTube. I would say Facebook is the biggest threat to YouTube. I think that we are lucky that Facebook seems to be focusing primarily on the private space rather than the public video space. But it is not the case that that is necessarily going to be that way forever, and it is a real risk that we will have to deal with a Facebook which is going to eat our lunch in many ways. I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to make it from there to there. Ah. Aha! Take care, attentive owl. Thanks for hanging out. It's good to see you. If YouTube died, would Google die? No. YouTube is an important part of Google's culture, but not a fundamental part of Google's business. I think that, like, Google clearly makes the majority of its revenue from advertisements on search. I don't think that there's any way to read the public investor results other than to think that Google survives primarily from ads on search. I think they drive something like 65% of total Google revenue or something like that. So I need to move the direction of this train somehow. Yeah, Google has, so this is not an atypical benefit for tech companies. Life insurance benefits are typically based around your salary and everything else like that. Google has a particularly, you know, user-friendly, push the arrow to rotate the train towards it. Push the arrow. Aha. There we go. So Google has a particularly good life insurance benefit, or death benefit. So you can, for free, you get, I think, as the employee, you get 3 times your annual salary as life insurance. Like, that's included in, like, Google pays the premiums for you, and they also pay for 10 years of your salary to, if you're married, like if you have a wife or something like that, they, like a significant other, they pay a significant amount of your salary for like 10 years or something like that. I don't know if it's half, so like 10 years of half of your salary as like a benefit as well. So I think I've joked to Jess sometimes that I'm worth more dead than alive. I think I'm worth, like, between, they also sell life insurance at a low rate, so I spend like $9 a month to get 10 times my salary in life insurance benefit. This made more sense when the kids were younger, and the idea was it would pay for them to be raised and everything else like that if I died, because obviously, like, I wouldn't be around to pay for these things. So I think at one point I did the math and I was like, I'm worth like $4 million dead. Because of what I make and everything else like that. So, but yeah, so generally speaking, tech companies have decent post-death benefits, but Google's is particularly good. Yeah, I think Google has like 60% of the search engine market at this point. It depends a little bit on how you measure. So Yandex is big in Russia. Baidu is big in China, but a lot of people don't include China because it's not connected to the rest of the internet, practically speaking. And so to compare it is a little, because they, the Great Firewall of China prevents you from accessing many sites and blah, blah, blah. So people in China can't use Google, and so it's a little bit odd to, compare them in that way. But yeah, it's definitely the case that Google has like a 60% market share, Bing's like 20%, and others are smaller in general, I think. Fuck. Yeah, as AWOL points out, Google has taken a very Puritan approach to content they allow to be searched for. So without very explicit searches, you have a hard time searching for porn and blah, blah, blah. And so Bing has a reputation as being the search engine for porn, which is not entirely, like, incorrect. Probably very few people still use Yahoo as a search engine. I actually don't think Yahoo runs its own search engine anymore. They just wrap Bing in the same way that Yahoo doesn't run its own maps anymore. They just wrap Here Maps, and they don't do, there's a lot of things that Yahoo really doesn't do anymore. They've outsourced a lot of it. So now they're just like portal software that isn't very valuable and doesn't offer a lot of unique benefit. So I don't expect that a lot of people still use Yahoo as a search engine. Yeah, and they're still a news aggregator. They're one of the few news aggregators that just republishes like Reuters and AP, I think. And so they still provide, interesting things as a web portal, but they don't do it themselves. I also think that they don't even run their own email themselves anymore. I think AOL runs that now. I mean, if you don't recall a time when Yahoo was any good, I mean, it was good when I started on the internet, but I guess that was 20 years ago now. So at the time, the whole idea of like directory-based search was really common. So. I think Verizon owns Yahoo now, yeah. That sounds right to me. I don't know if I care about the chalice, but I do care about the life bottle, so I'll go back out here and that. That's the wrong way. Shit. Yeah, so Google provides excellent working conditions. I think that, you know, for a long time they were definitely the best, without a doubt. I think now there's a lot of competition, especially in the startup space, to provide a more comprehensive benefits package. It is also the case that Google is a big company, and working for big companies has its downsides. You're unable to kind of maintain a very clear corporate culture that is able to necessarily get rid of all the bad apples. You're unable, like, as you grow your company, it becomes more difficult to achieve the goals of you know, having a single corporate culture, and so that can be a struggle for some people. You'll also have yeah, and that doesn't surprise me. In 2008, I'm not sure that I would have taken that offer either, but times change. Cool. Alright, so that's the chalice. Google has been I mean, Google doesn't actually manufacture phones, as far as I know. I think all of the Pixels are part of the Nexus. I mean, the Pixel is the continuation of the Nexus line, which has always been Google's kind of picture of what the ideal Android phone should look like. So it's their entry into the Android market. I think the Pixel's a fine phone, but when my Nexus 5X died, I decided that I was not going to reward Google for making a shitty phone, and I bought an iPhone instead. It has the properties that it is very small, which I really love. I'm very disappointed that no one makes small phones anymore. It has, you know, and is just a really good phone. So I've been very happy with that, and I have no complaints. So is that gate closed? Yeah, it is. Okay. I think I need to do this twice and this a bunch of times. I don't like Samsung's phones because I feel like they have too much crapware on them, and that applies to pretty much every Galaxy phone, so they are not for me. Alright, got a life bottle. Let's fill up these life bottles. Among the most ridiculous parts of the entire James Damore saga is the fact that he wore a shirt, got a shirt made up that's in the Google logo, and it says Gulag, G-O-L, like L-A-G, Gulag, focused, like, looking like the Google logo. And so the Verge writer who saw this is his Twitter profile that he had photographed by a professional alt-right photographer that was sent out to, you know, whatever, help him out with this. And so he's wearing this shirt, a play on the Google logo that means to say that, you know, the Silicon Valley Search Company is something like the infamous Soviet camps where prisoners were worked and starved to death as part of one of the 20th century's worst genocides. So this is the author from The Verge who wrote about this. So he's clearly attempting to compare it to a gulag by TC Soptic. And so the end of the paragraph is that Google, which provides free meals, massages, and fitness classes at its Mountain View, California headquarters, pays engineers like Demore a typical salary of $162,000 a year, according to Glassdoor, not including extra compensation like healthcare benefits, retirement savings, and equity. The company also offers its employees training opportunities, including volunteer sessions on subjects like diversity and unconscious bias. You know, just like a gulag. So that level of shade about this particular image is definitely, I think, the appropriate level of shade to apply in this case. I've been working at Google for 3.5 years. I have at times felt like I have been under pressure to get something done in a certain time frame or anything else like that. I can say pretty definitively it has never felt like working at a gulag. Yeah, AWOL. They're doing one here in Boston. I'm more concerned because the one in Boston is with like an already planned free speech rally. So they've got a bunch of like alt-right personalities who are coming from Charlottesville and other things like that up to Boston anyway, and are going to be, you know, going from the free speech rally to the March on Google. So I'm a little bit meh. Yeah, no, the food at Google is, I feel like the food at Google is a little bit too balanced. It's very healthy, and I don't know how much I like that, but no, it's good food. It, like, they take care of you. I mean, I joke oftentimes that Google is a bit like kindergarten. They very much, you know, try to coddle you and make sure that you are taken care of and healthy and wealthy and wise. But I do sometimes feel like, hello, I'm 33 years old. You don't need to tell me that I can't eat fried foods. Please give me my fried food. But of course, complaining about the free food that you get at Google is one of those things that's a little bit kind of silly.
Danielle.
Hey, another life bottle. Okay, so now I've got like a bajillion life bottles, which I have a feeling I'm going to need because now we're going to be going into Xerox Lair, the final level of the game. So we will go back and fill up these life bottles. No, Google doesn't give you, I mean, they don't give you free vacations. Google gives you, I mean, 3 weeks off a year when you start, 2 weeks off a year when you start, 3 weeks off a year when you start, vacation time, which is not atypical, and they are pretty lenient on personal time and other things like that, but they don't give you you know, vacation time, like free vacations. There is a property of working for Google which is interesting, which is that like any city you go to likely has a Google office in it, and Google offices have, you know, access to Wi-Fi, and I mean not any city you go to, but many cities you go to have Google offices in them, and so you have access to Wi-Fi and you have access to free lunch and other things like that that you can get because you're a Google employee. Just like, you know, you can go just about anywhere in the world and have that as a space that you can go to. So but yeah, the March on Google, I think, like, they're doing it on a Saturday, so it's not like there's going to be any Google employees there. I mean, applying for Google isn't hard. Getting into Google is hard. You need to be in the top, you know, 25% of software engineers, and you need to win the random dice roll that is getting past Google hiring. Google is notorious for having a high false negative rate, where we will incorrectly not hire someone even though they would be good for us because they are, you know, they just don't pass the random, you know, choices we make for hiring people or whatever else like that. So Google is well known that just because you don't pass a Google interview doesn't mean that you're not a good software engineer. It could just mean that, you know, on that day you lost the random dice roll. So so you don't need to know anybody. Certainly for getting past the phone screen, it's easier if someone submits your name for a resume rather than just doing it on your own, because that way you will like get past the initial phone screen where they assume you're an idiot, and into the case where they assume that you're a reasonable person. But in general, anyone can go apply. Use careers.google.com or google.com/jobs. You can search for jobs and just pull up a posting and apply for it. You'll go through a recruiter. They'll give you a phone screen, like quick phone screen. They'll schedule an interview with you, and off to the races. So the interview process is difficult. I've said before, the biggest difference between the Google interview process is The Google interview process will take every aspect of a typical software interview with whiteboard coding and everything else like that. And at the end of the interview question, they will say, okay, now this problem is 1,000,000 times bigger. What do you want to do? Yep. I mean, we get a lot of people who apply every day. I don't know how many it is. I know we hire like 100 per week. And I think we probably hire like less than 10% of the people who apply. So any given day, figure that, you know, 100 to 200 people are applying to Google. Oh yeah, I can put this back on now. I'm just running through to get more life bottles here, so this isn't the interesting part. We'll be back to making progress in the game shortly. Alright. All of my 8 bajillion life bottles are full. Yes, people still use Google+. Inside Google, it is the default corporate social network, and Google+ is offered as part of Google's Apps on Google platform. So I think it's probably not the only company that uses Google+ as an internal social network. It's not very commonly used in the US, but I feel like it's more popular in other places based on what little I know, but that's just based on like reading news articles and other things like that. It's oftentimes the case that we look at these things and like Orkut was still used until just a little bit ago by many people in Brazil, and I think a lot of those people switched over to Google Plus once we killed Orkut relatively recently. But Orkut was like the first social network I joined that wasn't LiveJournal back in early like 2003 or maybe late 2002. So yeah, there are still people who use Google social networks, even though that seems a little bit silly. They just tend to not be in the US, so you don't hear about them as much. Yeah, I mean, applying for jobs is hard. I was never a MySpace person, no. I was on LiveJournal, but, which was the same era, but not MySpace. Alright, Zarok's Lair, final level. That sucks. Yeah, it's not clear to me that, Google Plus continues to get the attention that maybe it should, but...
We never thought you'd get this far. Your final encounter with Zarok awaits beyond this point. He has surrounded himself with his unnatural bodyguards, but you may yet even the odds by calling upon the lost souls collected within your chalice. Place the chalice on the shield at the heart of the arena. Good luck, Sir Daniel Fortescue.
Alright, Fortescue, let's do it.
Sir Fortescue, my old nemesis, so we meet again. I see that a century spent as worm food has done nothing to diminish your naive obsession with the freedom of Gallowmere.
It's true, it has not. You are correct.
Prepare to attack, my warriors. I want the dogs gnawing marrow from those bones within the hour. Ah! What is that, Fortescue? Your lucky cup?
It appears that way. Aha! I have skeletons. Okay, so the green skeletons are mine.
For the honor of Gallowmere!
Ah! Can't. Aha. Okay. Uh-oh. Well, that didn't last long. Hello, Fernando Hot Dog. How's it going? Alright, so that didn't go well. Let's try this again. We're gonna skip over the score this time because we already know. Ba-ba-da. Get a shield. Get the lightning. Walk to the center. Chalice appears. Guy talks. Blah, blah, blah. Skeletons walk out. Discord's cool. I mean, I enjoy it. I use it. It's a useful tool. I mean, it's no different. I mean, to me, it's just IRC only, you know, it's the modern era, so. Okay, so one of them is yellow. So I think I want to go for that one first. How long are you going to take to kill these skeletons? I've got a lovely bunch of skeletons. Here they all are standing in a row. Ah! Software update. Okay. Whew! I am using good I'm using good lightning on them, which is recharging their life. Unfortunately, it takes away from mine, so.
This battle is ours! We are free from the tyranny of Zarok!
9:15 p.m. Eastern Time is when I stream. I'm the Chris who plays games, playing retro games every Monday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and whatever I feel like every Friday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. I play games from all types of different systems, from Atari to NES to Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis to the N64 to the PlayStation. I've also played different indie games on Friday nights when I play whatever I want. I've also live streamed Android games like Pokemon Go, as well as games from the GameCube, the DOS era, and more. I am a software developer working at Google on YouTube, and I'm always happy to answer your questions, whether they are today or any other time, so feel free to ask. If you are interested in some of the games I've played before, you can check out my website, chrisplaysgames.com, where I have a list of every game I have played on the channel, more than 272 total games across 167 different streams on 23 platforms, 23 genres across 17 different platforms. My favorite genre is the platformer genre. genre. My favorite platform is the NES, as it is the platform that I grew up playing the most. I'm happy to have you here today. How do I stream Pokemon Go? The YouTube gaming, the YouTube gaming app on Android allows you to live stream. Why can I not? Oh, there we go. I was like, why is it not letting me do the thing? Okay. Okay, he's got like a shield around him. Can I hit him with spears? Hey. Alright. Yes! I like my strategy. Grind it out. Hello, Rion. Hello. The YouTube gaming app does have camera and audio. Yeah, you can't use the AR mode in Pokemon Go at the same time as the camera because you can only have one camera active at a time. But you can either turn off AR mode and have a camera, or you can not have a camera and still have audio. So, yeah. I'm a big tank guy. Like, I just like stand there and take it in the face is definitely my my approach.
Oh, not right now. Aha! Now I have it.
What is he doing? It's like creating a new monster to attack me. Oh, excellent. A giant glowing mechanical lizard thing. That seems like it'll go great for me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm a tank at heart. I mean, I've been in my World of Warcraft guild. I was a tank, or a healer sometimes. So, yes, YouTube and YouTube gaming subs are separate. Oh God. Okay, so first let's pull out my magic sword. Okay, I can't hit him when he's glowing. Ow! Get off me! No, I don't have a sub goal. My goals are more around creating great content. So I recently did a video about like why Gangnam Style is was more popular than Despacito despite the lower number of views. I created a video last year about like how to you know, tear apart NES music and oh God, it seems bad. So that you could listen to the individual tracks between the 4-track synthesizer chip that was on the NES. I've done a video about yes, done a video about how to make a video game using Defold. Those are all things I'm proud of. So
I am finally.
Well, I hope you have a good time walking your dog.
Fail, then all shall perish. You are doomed, Fortescue. You will never leave this domain.
But I won. Oh, he's gonna kill me and himself. Good job. I think that's the end of the game. So, unfortunately, I did not get all the chalices, and my impression is that I get the bad ending because of that, so... Oh no! Run, Fortescue, run! Aw, the Eagles, they're saving me. Oh. Yay! Everyone's coming back to life. Goodbye, bird. Now I get to go back to my crypt and go back to sleep. Yeah. There it is. The end. No, I don't think Bloodborne would be a very good CPG game. We did it! Yay! Cool. So that was MediEvil. Thank you very much, Brad Pritchard, for the recommendation of this game. This is going to be the end of my stream for today. I will be playing Spyro this coming week, so tune in for that. Again, tomorrow, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time, I'll be playing some Spyro. And other than that, thank you all for being here, for hanging out. It's been good to chat and everything else to it, so... okay. See, everyone knows this game but me. I've never heard of this game before. Like, I know nothing about it, but you and, like, a whole bunch of other people, like, all know about it. I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna probably go outside and enjoy the lovely weather we appear to have here today. But before that, let me see if anyone's online that we can raid, playing anything interesting looking. Oh. Excuse me. Sorry. So Loomer is live and is playing The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. So I don't know this game, but I do know Loomer, and he's a cool dude. So if you want to watch somebody else, somebody new to you, definitely check out this person here. Feel free to wander in there and type CPG Raid. I appreciate that we've been able to hang out and have fun here. So thank you for being here, and I hope you all have a lovely evening and afternoon and day and whatever it is. I have no idea what it is, and I will see you all tomorrow, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm not gonna wait for this to go, so that's it. Go over there and say hi, CPG Raid, and I will see you all tomorrow.